Hey guys, welcome to the Southern Prosperity
Prosperity
Podcast. Good to see you again.
How are y'all doing? I'm Christina,
I'm
and this
Mary.
is, oh my gosh, we have some awesome steps. I'm so looking forward to the remainder of this steps. Are we doing three steps?
No, this is 4, 5, and 6.
Oh,
We did
4, 5,
1,
and
2,
6.
and 3.
Oh, 4, 5, and 6, guys. So we are going to be going over these steps.
We've been talking about Alcoholics Anonymous.
We're calling it the 12-step program.
That's what it is.
Everyone else calls it AA, but we are actually here. Let's go over that. Just in case I didn't see the last one, that you can actually use all of these steps in your everyday life. I want you to understand that it's not just for what our stereotypes are. So if you haven't seen the other one, please go back and make sure you follow up on steps 1 and 2 and 3, because it actually helps for anything. Me personally, I have a problem with shopping and keeping the items even if I don't use them. I've done this so many years that I have a emotional, physical attachment to random items. And if I notice they're not there, I care. I care that they're not there, even though I'm not going to use them, even though I haven't used them. There are arts and crafts materials that I've gathered over the years that I had plans on using and never did, and they're still there. But if I were to walk into the house and they were not there and I didn't notice it for 6 months, I wouldn't care until I think, oh, I should probably do that. And I look around and my husband threw it away. He was like, I threw that away a year ago. Where have you been? I'm like, I don't know, but I need it now.
And I've dealt with a lot of different addictions, compulsions. Control is a big issue with me. I want to be in control at all times. We're the Southern Prosperity Podcast.
Yes, we are.
And the first 3 steps are very simple. We kind of boiled it down to, I can't, God can, and I'm going to let him. So go back and look at the first video on the 12 steps. We were talking about Alcoholics Anonymous that was started in 1939 by 2 men. And then by the 50s, their wives has started Al-Anon, which is for friends and families of alcoholics. And now today, there are infinite numbers of 12-step programs. Everything from Narcotics Anonymous, Overeating Anonymous, Adult Children of Alcoholics. But this is just a wonderful guideline to help you get through everyday life. So we'll start with step 4, which is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Okay. We need to be self-aware. You know, we don't stop and think about, what are we saying? What are we doing? Are we breathing? You know, we go through life just in a daze because we're all so busy. And this makes you stop and take a moral inventory. What am I doing? What am I saying? Am I just screaming at my spouse? Am I just jumping in the car, running to the store and getting anything I want to?
Like self-reflection on your actions.
Searching and fearless moral inventory.
And then inventory, counting it up and determining.
Just looking at, and it's more moral.
Yeah.
You know, or am I cussing?
Yeah.
You know.
That's hormones though. I'm serious.
Not everything is about hormones.
I'm 35 and everything changed. I don't know how it can't be.
Yeah.
But okay.
It's life in general. But the 4th step, and these were Dr. Bob and BLW who started this 12-step program back in the 30s. Used the Bible. They used biblical verses to come up with these steps. And step 4, the idea of turning one's will and life over to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. That is turning your life over to God. That's step 3. Realizing that God can help you with this, and then making the decision to allow him to guide and direct you. But step 4, that searching and fearless moral inventory, is linked to Lamentations 3:40. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord, confessing sins to God and others. That's getting into step 5. But first, you need to sit down and take a moral inventory of your life. What are you doing that is against God's law? What are you doing that is causing frustration or problems, issues in your life? That's getting kind of deep. But a fearless and moral inventory is looking at yourself and even writing it down if you need to. This really encourages you to do a lot of writing and determining what is it that you are doing that is causing friction or dysfunction in your family or your workplace.
Okay.
Yeah. And then step 5 is admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another person.
Okay.
The exact nature of our wrongs.
My nature of wrongs are selfishness. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Because I'm being selfish.
That moral inventory.
Items.
Yeah.
But I always think that there's a positive. There's always positive there. There's providing for your family. Yeah.
It's when it becomes unmanageable. When you have a huge debt that you've got to overcome now because you couldn't control the impulse to purchase things.
Yeah.
It's like with an alcoholic or an addict. You can't control those impulses to consume or overeating. You have to sit back and say, what are these moral issues that I've got going on that lead me to want to do that? And once you do, then you need to talk to somebody about it. You need to get it out. You admit it to God. That's confession. To yourself. And then find a trusted friend or family member. In AA or Al-Anon, the 12-step programs, we're encouraged to get a mentor. A mentor of the same sex, because you don't want men and women. Usually women together have more of the same issues that they can understand better. Men, they understand each other better. It's a safer way to confess things. And then you don't get into that issue of maybe jealousy from a spouse, or bringing temptations into your life. There's even a 12-step program for sexual compulsions, sexual addiction, sexual compulsions. OCD, is obsessive compulsive disorder. A lot of us deal with that. And that's where confessing sins to God and others is supported by the book of James, chapter 5, verse 16. Confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. I've been praying for you, Christina.
Thank you. Of course.
Because, we're all dealing with some kind of issue.
Yeah.
And that's one of the wonderful things about the 12 steps. It just gives you a guideline to set up a framework that can get you healthier emotionally, mentally, physically. Stop those compulsions, those addictions that are just causing our lives to become unmanageable. We've got number 6.
Okay.
So once you do that fearless and moral inventory, then you're going to admit to God, to yourself, and to someone else that you trust what the nature of those wrongs are.
How do we identify that?
Searching moral inventory. Picture say, like, oh my goodness, I just lied.
Well, I don't lie. Lie?
You don't ever say, hey, kids, tell them I'm not home. When somebody calls you on the phone.
Never.
Well, oh, come on, Christina.
I love talking to people, so that's definitely...
You've never lied in your life?
Whenever I told you...
Even the lie?
The widest lie I've ever told would be more like a deflection. And I would say something that would not tell a lie, but it would be like asking another question instead of answering the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I purposely do not lie because at a young age I was told that lying's a sin and you can go to hell.
It's an abomination.
I tried not to lie. And that's also why I can never be a doctor or a lawyer, because when I lie, you can tell I'm lying.
That's a good thing. Step 6.
Okay.
Is we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. So when you do that fearless and searching moral inventory, you're going to find that there are things in your life, whether it's lying, cheating, stealing, but there are things in our life, cussing. Can you think of other things that are morally wrong that people just do all the time?
Naturally?
Having sex outside of marriage.
Everything. We're all sinners.
I know.
I mean, it's just a natural part of life.
Yeah. So in general is a moral defect. That is just something that, write those down. We come to agree in ourselves, admit to God and to another trusted person those moral deficiencies, the things that we have done wrong. And then step 6, we're entirely and we get ready to have God removed. Now, does this say that we're going to do it or that God's going to do this all of a sudden just like this? No. It just, step 6 says we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character.
Okay.
And this is kind of where it stops. I don't have any biblical references for these. It picks back up in step 8.
Okay.
But these are just really deep work that somebody would sit down because they have a dysfunctional life that is unmanageable and chaotic, from addiction of yourself. Either you've got some kind of addiction, or you're living with somebody that is an addict, or compulsive behavior, and you are trying to be the best that you can be. And so that's where step 4 starts, with that searching and fearless moral inventory. Step 5 is admitting to God, ourselves, and another person,
admitting
those problems or those defects. And then number 6 is we are ready for God to remove those from our lives.
Okay.
And that's where it stops, right there. There's 6 more steps to get through.
That'll be in the next. Okay.
But at that point, you just say, okay, I've listed these things that I've got that are wrong in my life. I've confessed them to God, to myself, and to a trusted friend or family member or a mentor. And then I am ready for God to remove these from my life.
All right. That's
deep,
you have to reflect on yourself and try to even figure what these are at.
Yeah.
So at this point, do you need to hit rock bottom for this to actually be effective?
Sometimes an addict definitely, or alcoholic, has to hit rock bottom before they will reach out. A lot of times they're in jail.
Yeah.
That is one of the court's instructions. If you want to stay out of jail, then you're going to have to go through the 12-step program.
Yeah. But what if it's not actually hurting anyone?
An addiction?
Yeah.
How can an addiction not hurt? Have y'all ever been around anybody that has an addiction or compulsion?
But what if I think my shopping addiction isn't hurting anyone?
But it is. The debt that you're consuming is hurting your husband and your children.
The money, our debt isn't from penny shopping. You can be my sponsor. We can go over this later. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm figuring it out.
Well, this is some deep stuff. This is the first time you've ever been introduced to the 12 steps.
I need help figuring out where my faults are.
All right. Join us for the next 6 steps of the 12-step program. And we're the Southern.
No. Live prosperity.
Wish you prosperity.
We wish you prosperity, guys. This is the next video you totally need to watch.
Bye. We're the Southern Prosperity Podcast.
Yes, we are.